So I'm from Larned, Kansas. Older brother and older sister. Mom and dad all went to Fort Hays State University too. My parents, when I was trying to pick out a college to go to, they kept saying, "We promise you that you need to look at Fort Hays." And I kept saying, "Well, I'm looking at K-State, or I'm looking at Baker, or I'm looking at another university." And they would say over and over again, "I promise you that you will have a different experience at Fort Hays than other universities." And being the youngest of, all of these alumni, I was almost kind of to the point where I didn't want to come to Fort Hays because I wanted to be an individual and I didn't want to be in my siblings' shadows. And then I came to Fort Hays for a visit and I was pretty sold. And so then I had to go back to my parents and say, "You were right, I wanted to come here." So yeah, that was my first memory of Fort Hays. When I came to Fort Hays, of course, I played on the tennis team. And when I was trying out for the tennis team, my brother, he was my tennis coach all throughout high school and all throughout college. He just loved tennis, and he was only 2 years older than I was. So when I came, I was really nervous trying out for the team, and he actually hit with me to warm me up. And coach came in, of course, said, "I want you to be on the team. I want you to stay at Fort Hays and play. And who's the guy that you're hitting with?" And I said, "Oh, that's my brother." And 2 weeks later, he offered my brother an assistantship to help with the tennis team. And so throughout Fort Hays, my tennis career at Fort Hays, I got to play tennis every day with my brother. So that was pretty cool to kind of continue from 8th grade all the way on to, junior in college, playing tennis every single day, numerous hours a day with my brother. So that was pretty cool to have him there. When I first came to college, I was in the band. I loved the song "In Heaven There Is No Beer." That was always just fun. And who was it? Mr. Fickle, where he danced around in his tiger hat. That was absolutely my favorite because that song, whenever it was played, everybody just got excited and fun and had fun and danced, and that's definitely my favorite tradition. When I first came, my major was in music education, and then shortly after, like everybody does, I changed my major to massage therapy, actually. When I was an undergraduate, I think everybody comes to college and they're kind of searching for what's next and what to do, and I've been so blessed, beyond blessed, because I have gotten sign after sign after sign in different situations. So for example, in my undergraduate experience, I found out one day, I went to the registrar's office and I walked in and she said, "Oh, you can graduate like next semester. You only need 6 more credit hours." And so I was really shocked, and I walked out and I called my mom and I said, "What do I do? I was not expecting this. I was still planning on playing tennis for another year." And she said, "Explore your options, call some people, just kind of see what's going on." And so I called Ceena Owens, the instructor of the massage therapy program, and it just so happened that the majors and graduate fair was going on that day. And she was sitting in a booth at the major and graduate fair. And so she called me and said, "Well, let's explore your master's programs." And so she had me come on over to the major and graduate fair, and she literally just had me walk around and look at the different booths. And she said, "If you're graduating this year, you could be my graduate assistant. I would love for you to be my graduate assistant." So within about 1 hour, I decided that I was going to graduate my undergraduate. I was going to pursue a master's degree in exercise science, and I was going to become a GTA. And this was really interesting because my tennis scholarship was a certain amount, and the amount that I got for being a GTA was the exact identical amount. So stuff like that happens all the time. I went to volunteer at the Neuromuscular Center. When I was finishing my thesis, I was talking to this little old lady that I had been working with for months, and I was just kind of commenting that I was trying to get in touch with this researcher, this world famous researcher, and she said, "Oh, that's my nephew. Let me just call him." And so she called up her nephew to have him help me with my research. And so it's just been really awesome because a lot of things have just kind of years later fallen into place and I didn't even know it. And so it's really been awesome to kind of find a home and kind of find where I should be and belong. I never thought that I was going to have some of the opportunities that I did, but I took a step forward and I became an adjunct instructor for the massage therapy program, still helping and still teaching for some of the professors in the department. And then, of course, I graduated. And then moving forward next year, I hope to begin my doctorate program. And then I would love to come back to Fort Hays State University and be a teacher eventually. I've been really blessed with the HHP department because they're like a cohesive team. Some questions have asked, who's been the most influential in your life? And I honestly could not say one professor. because there'd be times where I would go into a professor's office and I would have a question and they wouldn't know, and so they would say, hey Steve, will you come over here? Hey Lynn, I need your help. And so they would all just come over and they would help. It didn't matter who I was or what I was needing. They were just a cohesive team, and so I'd like to come back and be a part of that team eventually.